Would America manipulate and harass Jamaica to pressure Cuba? Welcome back to the Jamaica Bulletin Board, where we keep you in the loop about what's really happening in Jamaica, but with our signature twist. Today, we're shaking things up, stepping out of the regular news cycle, and diving into a commentary that's bound to make you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because let's face it, the world could use more of our unique perspective. And as always, remember, life is too serious to take seriously. Today we dare to investigate what's really behind the screens of the Jamaica-USA Cuban doctor saga. Behind the scenes of international diplomacy, there's often more than meets the eye. Jamaica's partnership with Cuban doctors has long been a lifeline for our healthcare system, but now it's under review, raising questions and sparking intrigue. Is this really about ethics and labor practices, or could there be a deeper geopolitical game unfolding? Let's dig into the facts, ask the tough questions, and see where they lead us. For decades, the Cuban medical program has served as a cornerstone of Jamaica's healthcare system, providing skilled professionals to underserved communities. This collaboration reflects a unique diplomatic bond between the two nations, rooted in mutual benefit and solidarity. But recently, the U.S. has cast a shadow over this arrangement, citing concerns about labor exploitation in Cuba's overseas medical missions. On the surface, it sounds like a noble cause, but could there be more beneath the surface? Let's unpack this step by step. First, the Cuban medical program is not just a humanitarian effort, it's a significant source of revenue and soft power for Cuba, strengthening its global influence and supporting its economy. This alone could make it a target for geopolitical pressure. Second, while the U.S. has raised valid ethical concerns in some contexts, the timing and focus on Jamaica's participation in the program raise eyebrows. Jamaica has publicly assured that Cuban doctors are treated fairly, with salaries and conditions aligned with local labor laws. So, why the scrutiny now? Cuban doctors are Jamaica's lifeline. Let's not lose sight of what's at stake here: people's lives. Cuba's medical program has been more than a diplomatic partnership for Jamaica. It's been an irreplaceable solution to a critical healthcare need. For decades, Cuban doctors have been the backbone of medical services in rural and underserved areas, filling gaps that would otherwise leave communities vulnerable. In a healthcare system where resources are stretched thin, these skilled professionals have become the first and often the only line of defense for thousands of Jamaicans. No other source has proven to be as reliable, affordable, or effective as Cuba's medical program. These doctors not only bring expertise, but also an unmatched commitment to service, often working in challenging conditions with limited resources. Replacing them isn't just a logistical nightmare, it's a potential healthcare crisis waiting to happen. But here's where things get complicated. Could the U.S. review of Cuba's medical program be about more than ethics? As a provider of life-saving services to nations worldwide, Cuba's medical diplomacy stands as one of its most successful exports, arguably its greatest symbol of influence and resilience. By targeting this program, is the U.S. looking to undermine one of Cuba's strongest diplomatic tools, especially in a region as strategically vital as the Caribbean? Jamaica, given its unique ties to both Cuba and the U.S., finds itself at the heart of this geopolitical narrative. The country's reliance on Cuban doctors, coupled with its important role in the region, may have made it a focal point for pressure and influence. Here's the real kicker: if the U.S.'s concerns are genuinely about labor practices, why does the focus seem disproportionately placed on Jamaica, a nation known for treating Cuban doctors fairly? Could this selective scrutiny be more about sending a subtle message than addressing actual exploitation? What's at stake for Jamaica? Imagine a scenario where Jamaica is forced to explore alternatives to Cuban doctors due to external pressures. It wouldn't just be about replacing healthcare providers. It would be about finding a solution that matches the level of expertise, affordability, and accessibility that Cuban doctors uniquely provide. And let's face it, alternatives aren't abundant. Would this mean the return of healthcare inequities, where rural and underserved areas are left without adequate medical services? Would it disrupt Jamaica's already fragile healthcare infrastructure? And the ripple effects wouldn't stop at Jamaica's borders. If one nation were to bow to pressure, Could others follow, leading to the gradual dismantling of Cuba's medical diplomacy program in the Caribbean, but at the sacrifice of Caribbean lives? Would this weaken Cuba's economic backbone and diminish its influence in the region, effectively achieving what larger sanctions haven't? In the end, this isn't just a matter of healthcare, it's a matter of survival, sovereignty, and balance. Jamaica must weigh its need for Cuban doctors against the geopolitical forces tugging on its diplomatic ties. And in doing so, it must reaffirm the desperate importance of prioritizing the well-being of its citizens, because nothing, not politics, not external pressure, should come between a nation and its ability to save lives. As citizens, our role is to question narratives, to peel back the layers, and to advocate for solutions that preserve Jamaica's independence and resilience. The Cuban Doctors Program is more than a partnership, it's a lifeline, a necessity, and perhaps even a reflection of the kind of diplomacy that focuses on humanity above all else. So, as Jamaica navigates this delicate intersection of healthcare, ethics, and geopolitics, the question remains, can we ensure our choices always prioritize lives over leverage? Because at the end of the day, isn't the true measure of diplomacy its ability to protect and uplift the most vulnerable? That's all for now, folks. Catch you in our next bulletin.